All right. Good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. I'm your host, Brandon Troy, host and co creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. And as you well know, right now, as we speak, we have DC Fandom happening right now. And in lieu of DC Fandom happening, I figure I bring on a good friend of mine who, as luck would have it, is actually scored the theme for DC Fandom. So, they've been on the show before. They do not need an introduction. They provided their talents as a composer for much of the Arrowverse, for Arrow, for Legends of Tomorrow, for Flash, and many others. It's my pleasure to welcome back Blake Neely and bring him on. Hey, Blake, how's it going, man?
Hello, my friend. I just saw you recently. You were at the studio.
Yes, I was. So, yeah, if you guys, a lot of times keep track of what's going on my Instagram. If you guys look there, yes, I recently had a trip not too long ago in Vegas slash LA, and had a chance to, visit you, of course, Blake. First off, how have you been? As I said, it hasn't really been that long since been by that way. But
I've
how are you
been
doing?
good. I've been great. It's kind of nonstop because since the shows got all delayed last season because of the shutdown. We are literally run last season into this season, so no break. We're right back at it with all the shows except for Supergirl, which we are. I have scored my last episode, and we had an amazing orchestra there to record the finale, and it airs, I believe, November 11th or 12th.
All
So
right,
that'll be.
cool,
It was bittersweet to send her off, but that one is wraps up really nicely. I think the fans
awesome.
are going to love it.
Awesome stuff. Well, I'll start first. Of course, just as I mentioned before, we have DC fandom happening currently as we speak. And I know we were you had it's you are scoring the theme for this event. So can you talk a bit about how that came about? Did it have anything to do, I'm assuming, with the prior experience with other shows, or did it actually happen ironically, outside of connections that you had there?
So I received a call in early mid August from Warner Brothers in DC, and they just said, "Hey, we have this idea. We did DC Fandom last year, which was a huge success, and this year we're thinking about giving it its own theme. Um, are you interested?" I'm like, "Am I interested? That would be amazing. Uh, yeah, I'll do it." And so they told me they wanted like a 1 minute theme to open the show, and I instantly was like, "Well, we've got to include all the hits. We've got to include Williams' Superman. We've got to include Elfman's Batman. Even Junkie's Wonder Woman makes an appearance, and then of course some of mine like Arrow and Supergirl and Flash. So it's a fun, there's a fun little Easter egg in this opening title, and then from that I developed like a sound package. So they've got play-ins and playoffs and like tons of different versions of the theme, and it's just fun to be watching DC Fandom this year and be such a big part of it. So super fun, and that's how that came about. I mean, it's not that they didn't know who I was because I do a lot of their
Right,
shows,
right, right,
but
right.
but it was still out of sort of out of context, which is I love it.
Awesome, awesome. And I guess you hopped into the other question I was going to ask is, how does one come up with a theme for an event like this that deals with a whole universe versus um specific characters, and with doing the Arrowverse, you are well versed in having and dealing in a universe. However, there, as we know, if we're thinking of it, going across multiple mediums, just as you said, with those other themes that people are familiar with, how would that come about? But as I said, you touched on it in terms of touching on how that came about. So it was pretty much an amalgamation, you would
Well,
say, of
no,
all those, or
I would say every time I've been given one of these characters to create a theme for, it's very intimidating because these characters are they've been around for so long. They've they're loved, they're beloved, and this was a bit more intimidating. This was, hey, can you capture all the DC heroes over 80 years? And what's funny is if I'm inspired, it usually happens immediately. And as I hung up the phone agreeing to do it, I started hearing this melody, and then quickly got to the studio to get to work. But it's got the classic sound with an orchestra, but then there's also a big beat, and there's electronics, and there's all kinds of stuff to kind of take us over the past 80 years and just celebrate our heroes.
Awesome stuff, and I'll shoot a shout out. I guess we have a viewer here. Shout out, fellow co-creator Jerome. What's up? What's up? What's up? Um,
Drum.
but yeah. So in thinking of that, and commenting on how that process comes together. Uh, in terms of trying to fit, well, let me ask you this. In terms of the timeline of having this, and as you said, the workload that you have already, that exists with the Arrowverse, because you have the luxury of having an entire team. What was that, something that you took, would you say that you um
On this,
allowed? Hmm?
on this,
Well, I was saying with this, and having the
no,
theme
this
did.
this was hands off. This is mine, and
Okay.
I just went to town and did it, and I had a couple of weeks to write it, get it approved, get everyone on board, and then we also had to record it. So then there was orchestration to do. Because it's a world event, and we're in no, not lockdown, but it's we want to include everybody. And during lockdown, I found this orchestra in Budapest, Hungary, who are amazing. So I said I was going to bring them another project, and I brought this to them. And we recorded it, and they were fantastic. I was over Zoom. Actually, they did a nice behind the scenes before Fandom that shows the recording process. And then that was it. And so it went pretty quick.
Gotcha,
And
gotcha, gotcha.
luckily it was in August, like I say, where we were just finishing up two shows, and the other ones hadn't started yet. So it was like perfect timing for
Oh,
season.
okay, okay. No, because I know we always chat, and you always have great stories about trying to navigate, get having multiple things happening at once with all the shows. And I know it's
Yeah.
always seems like it's a real testament to being able to manage time and be able to delegate, like who will work on this portion of a certain
Oh,
score,
yeah,
or
but I've got fantastic co-writers, and I've got an amazing team, but this one just fell into place. However, I would say that if this came up and I was in the middle of 8 shows, I would still say yes, because this opportunity, this is once in a lifetime, man.
for
Write a
sure.
theme for DC Comics heroes is, you know, kind of what little boy me wanted to do his whole life. So I guess I'm
For
done.
sure.
I, I'm done.
So I mean, I'm not gonna keep you too long, man. But listen, like, as always, it's always great to have you, and talk about the work that you have, not just with the Arrowverse, but also with other ventures as well, especially this. Before I let you go, can you tell folks where they can find you?
They can find me on Twitter. It's Cal on the wall, at Cal on the wall. There you go, right there. Um, and the fandom theme is called "A Time for Heroes," and it's available in two different versions on all music platforms. And it came out yesterday, so you can check it out there. And of course, you can swing back and start watching DC Fandom live again. And if you missed it, I think it's tomorrow, Brandon. You can watch the whole thing from the
I
start.
believe so. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so today's live, and then tomorrow you can catch whatever parts you want. or missed.
Absolutely,
Super
absolutely.
fun.
So
And she went all over the world. Last year they had 22 million people watch Fandom.
yeah, indeed, man. Well,
That's just
as
a
I
few
said,
more friends than you have. Just a few more friends. Dude, you know
yeah,
everybody.
just a little bit more, just a tad bit more. But yes, man. Like as always, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thanks so much for carving out some time. Um, there you guys have it. We're gonna hop right back into the live stream. But again, Blake, thanks so much for peeling out some time to talk about the theme, man.
Thanks, buddy. I'll see you soon.
All right, later.
Bye.
All right, so there you guys have it. Again, we had Blake Neely, composer Blake Neely, who provided the theme for DC Fandom. I'm your host, Brandon Troy, host and co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. We are ending this stream now, but if you want to stick around and hang out for, be on the lookout for the continuation of the live stream for DC Fandom. It should be up in a few moments. So make sure that you're liking and subscribing, so that way you can keep track of these live streams. All right, talk to you soon. Later. Bye.